Hello, my name is Philip and welcome to today's video where we will talk about winning the lottery and the second conditional. What would you do if you won the lottery? If I won the lottery, I would buy a big penthouse, like this one. A penthouse is usually a really big and luxurious flat, usually on the top floor. Now, first things first, is it likely that I win the lottery? No, not really. It's quite hypothetical, and that's why we use the second conditional to talk about this situation. Last week we learned about the first conditional, which we use for likely and possible situations and their consequences. For example, if I finish work early, I'll help you. It's very likely that I will finish work early, so I will help you. Or I could say the same thing using the second conditional. If I finished work early, I would help you. But I'm really busy, so it's really unlikely that I will be able to help you. And that's why I use the second conditional. Now careful, even though the verb is in the past, it's not the past. It talks about a present or a future possible situation, which is very unlikely. It's not in the past. So, if I won the lottery, I would buy a penthouse. The second conditional uses past simple in the if clause and would plus infinitive in the result clause. Would often gets contracted to d, for example, I'd, you'd, he'd, we'd, and is the same for all persons. It also uses a comma when the if clause goes first. If I bought a penthouse, I'd need a lot of furniture. If I needed a lot of furniture, I'd bring this chair with me. If I brought this chair with me, I'd need a carpet to go underneath it. If I needed a carpet, I could go to IKEA. Because we can also use could instead of would in the second conditional to talk about possibilities and options. If I helped you with your bags, you could answer the phone that's ringing. But you're really stubborn and you won't let me help you. So it's highly unlikely. Or I could say, you would have more fun at a party if you used your phone less. You just keep looking down, so you should look up and see that the result clause can also be first. Talking about the party, if I were there, I would make lots of friends. But it's a hypothetical situation because I'm not going to the party. I mean, what party? But if I were there, Hold on a second. Did I say where with I? Shouldn't it be was because it's I? Well, no. In the second conditional, we use where instead of was for the first and third person. And it means the same thing. So we could say, if George were there, he would have fun. I were in the second conditional is often used to give advice. For example, if I were you, I would wear this hat to the party. It's hypothetical because I cannot possibly be you, it's simply unreal, and that's why we use the second conditional. So I really could say, if I were you, I would wear this hat instead of this one, because this is really nice and bright. But the lottery. It would be nice to have a big house. I would be happier in my own place. My friends could visit any time. It would be a great life. As you can see, we can use the result clause of the second conditional, would and infinitive, to talk about a hypothetical or imaginary situation. We sometimes call it the conditional tense. We can also use the second conditional and the conditional tense when we want to sound a little bit more formal. For example, it would be great if you could help us. In other words, help us. Or, your help would be amazing. Thank you very much. Could you send me the report from last week, please? Talking about the second conditional and the conditional tense, pronouncing the contraction can be a little bit difficult, and so it's worth practicing. I'm going to show you 5 sentences. First, I will pronounce the contraction, then you repeat. Then I'll pronounce the contraction with the verb, and then you repeat. And then I'll pronounce the whole sentence, and you repeat after me. Listen, repeat. Listen, repeat. Listen, repeat. Ready? I'd have. I'd have a big house. You'd come. You'd come to visit. He'd love to. He'd love to see it. We'd live. We'd live happily ever after. George'd lend. George'd lend me his bike. Now it's time to check what you have learned. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Pause the video to give yourself some time to think about the answers and then check them. The correct ones are in the description of the video down below. Question 1. What tenses and grammar forms do we use in the second conditional? Question 2. If you come, you'll get a chocolate bar. If you came, you'd get a chocolate bar. What's the difference between these 2 sentences? Question 3. Do we use was or where in the second conditional with I, he, she and it? Question 4. What other grammatical form, apart from the second conditional, can we use to talk about hypothetical and imaginary situations? And question number 5. What would you do if you won the lottery? To practice the second conditional, click on the link in the description of the video down below. I've designed some exercises to help you practice this grammar form, and there is also an answer key so you can check your answers. Of course, not to forget, here is your bonus fact. In this video, we've talked about winning the lottery. But how likely is it that you could win the lottery? Is it really hypothetical? Or is there a chance? Well, talking about the British lotto game, your chances are about 1 in 45 million. So 44,999,999 people would need to buy a ticket before you so that you could win. In fact, you're a lot more likely to give birth to identical quadruplets. That's 4 identical babies. Odds? 1 in 13 million. You're more likely to get hit by a plane falling from the sky. Odds? 1 in 10 million. You're more likely to win an Olympic gold medal. Odds? 1 in 662,000. You're also more likely to win an Oscar. Odds? 1 in 11,500. So, save yourself some money and buy some chocolate instead. Good choice. And that's the second conditional for you. What would you do if you won the lottery? Would you buy a penthouse in London? Let me know in the comments below. If you like my explanation of the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to review the first conditional, click over here to go and watch my video on it. And if you want to know when I release a new video, then click on my face to subscribe. That's all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.